Good evening, my friends. Kevin the Comic Doctor coming to you with another live CGC unboxing and a question. Has Supergirl been given a fair shake by Hollywood? We're going to talk a little bit about the various actresses that have conveyed that role and see how Hollywood has ever gotten it right. And if so, celebrate that. And if not, attack it. So hopefully you can stick around for that conversation after our live CGC unboxing, guys. Some great books today. And you saw it right there. We have an Action Comics 252, the first appearance of Supergirl. So don't go anywhere. That book is right down here, and I'll be sharing with you in just a few moments. Guys, I'm Kevin the Comic Doctor. I'm a comic book presser. I'm also an authorized CGC dealer located way up in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. And like I said, we do live CGC unboxings every week, every Tuesday night at 8:30, as long as books are here. And for the last several weeks, we've had books here. So we've had these great conversations. And I'm doing something a little bit different. Like I said, at the end of each episode, we tackle a topic. We talk about some stuff having to do with comic books, comic book fandom. I'm also a huge movie buff and TV buff. So I love to talk about our favorite heroes being depicted in various mediums and see if they're getting it right or not. Okay. Anyways, also, guys, if you're currently looking for a presser, guys, now's a great time to submit books. Our turnaround times are the lowest they've been in years. I'll actually say in years. Currently, we are looking at about 3 to 4 months for the entire process of cleaning, pressing, CGC grading, and shipping back and forth to Sarasota. So if you have any books you're thinking about having cleaned and pressed and graded, give me a holler. Contact me at info@thecomicdoctor.com or head over to my website, www.comicdoctor.com, and you can fill out a submission form right there. Also, some exciting things happening at the shop. We are currently, again, still experimenting with various conservation techniques. I'll be posting a picture very soon of some deacidification results we've attained. Pretty exciting, but again, we're not ready to share that with the public just yet, but we're going to be getting there probably early in 2024. And there was something else. Oh, also, if you do have comics you want to have pressed and cleaned, but you're not quite sure which books should be given the treatment, hey, you know what? I offer free pre-screening. So if you have books that you want to bring in to the shop, you can make an appointment. Again, go to my contact page at thecomicdoctor.com, book an appointment for a free complimentary pre-screening. That's, of course, for people that are local to the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area. But guess what? If you are in Toledo, Ohio, you're down in Salinas, California, you're over in Tampa, Florida, and you would like me to pre-screen some books with you, we could always set up an online meeting, and I'm happy to, through Zoom or whatever, Messenger, meet with you guys and talk about the comics you're thinking about having done. Because let's face it, it's a very expensive prospect to move forward with pressing and cleaning books and have them graded, especially. So it's better to be sure these books are worthy of having this work done, and I'm happy to help you figure that out. Okay, guys, let's get going. You're here to look at some books. I've got one queued up for you right now. We've got fellas fellas and ladies, I hope, in the chat room. We'll go to the chat room in just a few moments. Let's see what we have first. First off, we have A House of Secrets, featuring the first Swamp Thing. And a 6.5. Let me grab my box, bring it a little bit closer here. Okay, what else? Okay, we go with for a pretty awesome book to another pseudo-awesome book here. It's a pretty common one. We got a Spawn #1. This one's a newsstand copy at a 9.6. I'm trying to keep these invoices all organized. All right, moving right along. We also have a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 300. We've got a direct copy. And making sure there's no cracks in the slab. And a 9.6. Right there. Oops. What's going on with that? Right there. Okay. They keep putting the submission invoices in the wrong spot. They're hard. Oh, another one down the... Okay. Every box is different. All right, we got our first Guy Gardner. A first Guy Gardner in Green Lantern 59. Slab looks good. Right there, 6.0. That book has gotten hotter and hotter. as the new DC cinematic universe is getting put together. We have also a newsstand copy of ASM 238 with the first Hobgoblin. And this one's got the cool New York custom label on there. We have Incredible Hulk 340 in a 9.6. And again, another cool label. It's got a custom label there. The Wolverine custom label. Okay, so this grader is really into the 9.6s. This is actually a pretty nice looking copy. Why is this a 9.6? Let's see. All right, we got a Wolverine number 8, 9.6. It's a pretty clean book. Anyways, again with the Wolverine custom label. My stack is now high, guys. If you have questions about comic book pressing, comic book collecting, or you want to make a comment about fandom in general, this is the place to do it. Go on over to our chat area there, and you can join the conversation. Speak your mind. Happy to answer any questions you might have or engage in conversation with you. But the caveat is you must be a subscriber to the channel. So if you're not a subscriber yet, hit the subscriber button, or subscribe button, and come on over and join in the fun. Okay, let's go over to the chat room right now as I pack these guys up. John, you're always the first one here. How's it going? John's here. P-Man is here as well. How you doing? Hey, Doc, another great Tuesday night for some amazing books. I hope you guys are enjoying this regular Tuesday night adventure rather than having kind of... having our shows take place randomly week to week. Again, this was a real Hyperion suggestion to do it weekly, so I picked Tuesday at 8:30. We'll see how that goes. It could change from month to month, but for now, Tuesday seems to be working. PhD and Nooms here. How you doing? Good to see you. A Rage for Collectors in the house as well. Moneyball Comics is here. How's it going? Hey, the comics are showing up on your account. They should be by now. Hopefully they're all there, Moneyball. And hopefully they're graded. If you have any news, let me know. I want to know. Robert's here. How you doing, Rob? Sam's here. Sam, Mr. Polidano. It's Kevin now, Sam. You're now graduated. One of my ex-students there, guys. Luis Mendoza. Yo, what's up, Doc? Yo, Luis, what's up with you? Rob Bin says, will Taylor Swift play Dazzler? Thoughts? Hey, it was looking that way. And, she was hanging out with all the crew from the show, with Hugh Jackman and with Deadpool himself there, Ryan Reynolds, going to football games with her boyfriend and all them. So it was looking like she was going to be perhaps playing Dazzler. Then that whole speculation was kind of downplayed several weeks back when she said she's not playing a character, she's playing herself. Like she's in the movie, but she's actually playing herself, a musician, but not Dazzler. Now, come on, she is the perfect Dazzler. I hope she does do it. I think it'll be a real boom for the X-Men franchise to have her take part. And even for her, I think it'll be a fun thing for her to do. So let's see. I'm not sure. Hopefully it does happen. In the meantime, pick up those Dazzler books. Whenever I get them, I try to pick them up. I got a couple of copies. I sold one to Mike, I think on my Boxing Day sale. I put it out. It was gone like in no time. He saw it, eyeballed it, and grabbed it. It wasn't even like a super high grade book. It was like a fine, very fine. But certainly a book to pick up. What do you think, Rob? Do you think she will be in the movie as Dazzler? I think she will be. Hey, James is here. How's it going? Good to see you. All right, we're going to get right back to it. Okay, you know what? Lots of 9.6s there, but you know what? It's okay to get 9.6s so long as they eventually lead to one of these right here, a 9.8. Got a nice 9.8 ASM 316, again with the cool Venom custom labels. I'm starting to give it a lot more custom labels than I used to. They're starting to catch on. I really wish they would that CGC would start putting out DC labels too. Get some Batman, Superman labels put out there, but not yet. Okay, look at that. Another 9.8. We've got a Wolverine number 1 from 1988 in a 9.8. I am going to do top submitted books of 2023, and I'm going to tell you, this book's going to be on there for sure. All right, you know what? There was one copy in a 9.8, but I always like to see 2 copies in a 9.8. There you go. We've got a nice copy of Hero for Hire number 9. with a Doctor Doom and Fantastic Four appearance. And a 9.0. Okay, that was pretty generous. Listen, whoever's book this is, I'm very happy that you got a 9. Maybe it is a 9. Yeah, okay. You know what? I don't know. Seems more like an 8.5 to me, but what do I know? I'm just the presser, not the grader. So that's a 9.0. We also have the Doom Patrol, Greatest Adventure, number 81. All right, and that's in a 7.0. Amazing Spider-Man, number 59, and an 8.0. That's a nice copy. Look at that nice bright back on that one, and an 8.0. Another label right there. Mystery in Space, number 86, and a 6.5. My stack is getting high again, guys. Any questions you might have, type them in right now. I'll get to them in just a moment. Another Mystery in Space. This one's a 103. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Okay. My stack is high. I have to go back to the chat room. Here we go. Okay. Let's go back and see what you guys are saying. Treasury Editions here. How you doing? Man Bat Detective. Hope all is well with you. Hello. Man Bat Detective. Where in the heck have you been? I have about 1 million of your books here. And we need to talk. We need to chat. So let's make a time. Maybe give me a text when it's a good time to reach you. And I'll give you a holler. Yeah, would be good to talk to you. Good to have you back here, Man Bat Detective. You have been missed. Warren is here. How you doing, Warren? Good morning. Mike Emmons, it was looking like the Chiefs might win the football game. Okay. I'm not a football fan. I don't follow it. So I don't know. I'll take your word for it, Michael. John says, just wondering if you've gotten to my books yet. We are currently now in mid-September, so probably soon. We're moving along pretty quickly. We are starting to do a few dealer orders that are kind of infiltrating my regular queue, but I have to do that to keep them happy. The submissions from the regular folks are kind of at a low, I'll be honest. So I got to keep the dealers happy to keep the doors open, guys. Books are coming in, don't get me wrong, just not as feverishly as they once were. I'm going to tell you, for 12 years solid, 11 years, for 11 years, from 2011 till the day they opened the doors to last May, I have been absolutely, and if you guys have been with me all this time, you know how busy I've been. It's been crazy. I've seen a real decline in submissions from average folk, average collectors since May. It's kind of been going, they're still coming in, just not as feverishly as they once were. Again, I attribute that to the economy. I attribute that to our hobby becoming quite volatile. I mean, the prices, the drop. But I got a feeling things will take a turn again, because what's everybody doing right now? If you're like me, you're buying. You're buying and you're putting things away. And eventually those books are going to need to be pressed, cleaned, and graded. So I only anticipate that it'll get busy again. In fact, I'm starting to see a little bit of an uptick now. So I got a feeling we're going to start seeing books start to come in more, I wouldn't say feverishly, but a little more regularly in the new year. But it's been a very strange year for this hobby. Okay. Moving right along. Another Mystery in Space 75 here. These are books, guys, we don't see very often. Great to see some of these silver DCs. Great cover work, cover artwork. Number 66 as well, in a 6.0. Now I'm seeing all sorts of, tanning on these pages, as you can see it too, I'm sure. And it's funny because as we are deacidifying the books right now, we're playing around with that right now, and my thing's out of focus. There we go. When you deacidify a book, all that kind of goes away. The books become much stronger and a little brighter. Yellowing tends to go away. But you know what? It's not for every book because, again, just like pressing, cleaning, and grading, the value has to be there. It's got to be worth it. It's quite a laborious undertaking. So, again, it must be worth doing before moving forward with such a task. Okay. Lois Lane, Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, 105 in an 8.5. Excuse me, great grade. Awesome Wonder Woman bondage cover here. And it says right on there, bondage cover in a 4.5 from 1973. And just checking for cracks, guys, as per usual. Right there, 4.5. Nothing wrong with that. We've got a Superman classic Neil Adams cover, I believe, right? Yes. 233, where he breaks through the chains of kryptonite. Right there. Love that cover. We got a Batman classic cover here from 1971, 237. Again, Neil Adams cover and art. And this is 7.5. Right there. We have we're almost done our first box already, guys. Wait for box number 2. We have got some doozies in there. You're not going to want to miss it. So you sit back, relax. We just started, about 15 minutes ago or so. We got another great box coming up. And then stick around for the conversation. We're going to be talking about Supergirl. Supergirl and how Hollywood has depicted her. What do you think? We've had three major versions of Supergirl. We're going to talk about each of them. All right, we got look at this. Batman 239 from 1972. Cream to off-white pages, which is crazy because the book's a 9.6. Look at that, guys. Something you don't see every day. Now, in a book like that, unfortunately, having the cream to off-white pages is going to affect the grade. If that was a white pager, the value of this would be, a little more than it is because of that cream allocation. But still, a 9.6, awesome. We also have a Batman from number 240 from 1972 with Ra's al Ghul and Talia. And this one is an 8.5, also with cream to off-white pages. All right. Again, guys, still on box number 1. Got a couple more here. I'm going to show you the old-fashioned way here. We got a Batman 238. It's one of those giant, super spectacular 100-page specials. Boy, that looks sloppy. I'm just looking at the way they sealed the inner well. And look at this kind of, I don't know what's on the slab, but yeah. Anyways, not cracked, but it's 6.0. It's a creamed off-white. Yeah, creamed off-white pages as well. It has some dog ears here. That's why it has a 6.0. If those dog ears weren't there, this book probably would be closer to the, it's got some crunching going on down here too. So that's why it's got the 6, but nice book. Cool. All right. And the last book from this box is a 6.5 copy of Strange Adventures 184, second appearance of Animal Man. And again, no cracks, which I like to see. There it is. All right. Sweet. That was a nice, cool box. Lots of DC in that one, guys. A lot of you DC fans out there must have been happy with that one. Okay, let's go back to the chat. Michael says, sometimes a 9.6 grows up to be a 9.8. That's right. Sometimes it does. We got 30 of you in the chat room right now, guys, or watching. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button while you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Join the conversation. Let me know where you're watching from. Every week I'm getting people, piping in from all over the place. If you're new here or you haven't never spoken here before, I want to know, where are you writing or where are you watching us from? Love to hear. I jumped up there a bit. Rob says, I have a potential 9.8 X-Men 120 at CGC. Would be worth a lot more. Oh, of course it would, Rob. there's a lot of hype around that book right now. So probably a good time to sell it, just before the movie comes out, if that's what your intention is. Sorry, in X-Men 160. Is it 130, the first appearance? Yeah, 130 is. Yeah, Rob says it right down. And neither is 160. I was wondering. Mike says, one more guess. I'm afraid I'm going to have to revoke your nerd license. Exactly. Astro Lucky is here. Hello, Astro Lucky. How you doing? Has been a while. Treasury says, as you are mid-September now, it's weird that haven't received an invoice for my mid-August order. Treasury Edition, what's your first name? Treasury Edition. I did some invoicing last night, and I've got a few more to send out. Oh, and by the way, if you guys ever use, and this could be your situation here, Treasury Edition, if you have submitted books for pre-screening, I don't send out invoices immediately because I don't know what to charge you yet. If the books have not been screened and graded, I shouldn't say screened. If the books have not been graded, I don't know if all of them were graded or if none of them were graded, so I can't invoice you. So some of you, your books are at CGC, and your invoices are sitting here, and I have a little PS beside your name because it means pre-screen. And I want to bill you. Believe me, I want to bill you, but I can't bill you until I know exactly what to charge you. So that could be the situation if you have any pre-screens. If not, there were, like I said a couple of weeks back, we did miss a rather large box of August submissions that I believe we're pretty much through. So I do have about 100 books to ship to CGC this week still, and those would consist of August orders. So, yeah, it's coming. Don't worry. Don't worry, Treasury Edition. I am going to charge you. I have to. Manbat says, my apologies, sir. I was out of country for several months. Yes, books are on. Missed you. My apologies. No problem. No problem. But I need to talk to you at some point. So maybe tomorrow or whatever. Let me know when's a good time to reach you. I'll give you a call and we'll chat. Peter says, how different a DC extravaganza. Peter, good to see you. And it's not over yet, my friend. There is still some more DC goodness to go around. Don't go anywheres. Don't go anywheres. Michael says, I love the Grim Reaper Neil Adams cover on my wish list. Yeah, it's a pretty sick looking cover. Oh, I got to put these back, actually. It is cool to see. But yeah, we haven't seen that much DC since Peter's Neil Adams books. Hey, Peter, did your books get auctioned already? Because Peter was one of the fellows who brought a bunch of books down to the shop when Comic Link was there. And I heard that some other people have had books auctioned already. So I'm curious if any of yours went. And if so, how did you do? Okay, these go on here. Like that. Okay. That box is done. On to box number... Now, this box is not full. This box has got about 20 books in it, I think. 19, 20 books. Let's get started. Now, I don't know... This is kind of a mishmash of Marvel and DC. So... I saw you say your name is Robert. I'm just having a quick look here. I'm not seeing an invoice here. It could be at the shop, Robert. Robert, if you want me to check for you exactly where your books are at, like, I mean, in terms of where they are, if they're done or if they're ready to go or what's going on, send me a text tomorrow with your full name and I'll have a quick look at my binder. Everyone's invoices are in binders, but if it's August, I'm pretty sure we're into September. I know that, up to mid, I believe. But there could be some dwindling August things there, and but mid concerns me. And when I say concerns me, I'm not worried. Your books are there. Just hopefully we didn't miss them. Like what I mean by that, hopefully I didn't put it in the wrong spot. But let me just give me a text tomorrow. Yeah. The infamous mix box. I was so proud of myself that we were working on September books about a month and a half ago. Oh, we're in September. We're really ahead of the game. And then I found a friggin' huge box of August submissions that was wasn't lost, but it was like, we moved from my old shop to the new shop, and it kind of got placed on a shelf. And I'm like, that box shouldn't be there. And I opened it, and it was all full of August orders that I hadn't gotten to. So we had to kind of stop those September books and go back to the August books. That's what kind of happened. But again, tomorrow, throw me a text. My number's on my website if you don't have it. And just tell me your full name, and I'll locate them and see what's going on. Okay? All right. Moving right along. We got a really nice old Daredevil book here from 1974. Old, because I'm pretty old. I was born in 71. Here we go, 8.0 with a really slick-looking custom label there. All right, that's a Daredevil number 115. We have an Amazing Spider-Man. Well, if someone likes their custom label, we have an Amazing Spider-Man 51, second appearance of the Kingpin, and a 3.0. Whoops. Again, with that cool New York custom label of Spider-Man. All right, I told you I wasn't whistling Dixie, guys. Here we go. Here come the heavy hitters. Another Incredible Hulk 181. Another one, like every show. Sam always makes fun of the ASM 361s. Remember the ASM 361s? We'd see like 10 in one episode. Now we're seeing like every episode we see a Hulk 181. 6.5 right there. It is an off-white to white pager. Then we have a copy of, okay, here we go. These are Phil's books from Oshawa. Action Comics, back to the DC. 7.0, Action Comics number 267. Now, if I recall correctly, Phil and I were talking about this one. He was disappointed with the grade on this. He was hoping to be a little bit higher. But apparently the centerfold, the bottom staple, I believe, was detached. And it said that in the notes. And he goes, yeah, it was. He goes, yeah, the body. Phil knows his books. He inspects them, thoroughly. And sure enough, he goes, it was. And he goes, I can't believe they really hit the grade on that book so hard because of a detached staple. Yeah, well, they did. I mean, the other books that he has given us, and here's an example of one of his books, is a Magnus Robot Fighter number 1 from 1963, Origin and First Appearance of Magnus. Here's a book you don't see very often in this grade. But I mean, this is what he was hoping for, I think, for that last one. A number 8. Again, a book you do not see very often. Those Gold Key books are usually beat to hell. This one's actually in really nice shape. I was very happy to see an 8.0. I thought the book was going to get more like a 7.5. So I was pretty happy with the 8. And again, off-white to white pages. And here we go right now. This is another one of Phil's books. Phil was very trepidatious coming in. Now, Phil's one of those old-time collectors. But check this one out, guys. Action Comics 252. First appearance of Kara Zor-El, Supergirl, and a 6.5. Beautiful copy. And this one is off-white pages. But Phil is great because he's one of those old-time collectors. When I say old-time, he's not much older than I am. I think we're around the same age, actually. But, pressing and cleaning, what's that all about? What's this whole pressing and cleaning business about, right? There's still a lot of collectors that don't buy into this whole thing. The pressing, the cleaning, the grading even. Like, some guys still think that throwing books into slabs is sacrilege, right? But, a lot of these collectors enthusiasts have been doing this for 30, 40, 50 years even, are now starting to think, you know what, maybe I better start taking some of my more valuable books or my prized books, the ones I really love, and get them slabbed. And of course, when they research that, they find out pretty quickly there's this thing called pressing and cleaning. And again, I always say this, guys, when I first started offering pressing and cleaning back in the early, or the mid-aughts, I should say, I received hate mail for it. People were really pissed off that I was doing this to books. They thought it was restoration, pressing, you should leave the books as they are, that sort of thing. And that whole notion of pressing and cleaning being bad for the books was soon dispelled as it became an industry. It was normalized by the industry and the hobby, and everybody started doing this. And everybody who's in this hobby, I'm sure, knows somebody that's either pressing their own books or sends their books to be pressed by guys like me. Anyways, Phil was one of those guys. He was very nervous about, and this was his baby, and he was very, and he's from Oshawa. He's a local guy. He brought it over, and the turnaround time when he brought it in was ugly. It was like closer to like 6 months when he brought it in. The last food he brought in didn't take quite as long, but he was very nervous about it. I'm glad it came back. It's in one piece. The slab is not cracked. He was so nervous. Oh, I hope the slab's not cracked. I don't want the book going back to CGC again. And guess what, Phil? It doesn't have to go back. The slab looks pretty darn good to me. So congratulations. And I'm sure I'm going to see you this Saturday or sooner to pick up your books. And there's a couple more in here too, I think. Yeah, here's another one here. A 6.0. First appearance of Brainiac 5. And this one here. Now, was this the one that has the detached staple? I forget. Anyway, it's a 6.0. Another awesome Supergirl cover. Early Supergirl appearance. And we go right from... Well, you know what? I'll share this one in a second. Another heavy hitter coming, guys. Marvel heavy hitter. Modern Marvel heavy hitter. It's coming. We'll do that one in a second. Don't go anywhere. We'll go to this commercial break type thing. I'll go over to the back to the chat room as I pack these guys up. All right. Sam's here. Nice to see DC getting some love. Yeah. Thanks, Robert. Okay, we'll talk soon. Mike says you can't spell Doc without DC. That's true, Michael. Cool. Thanks for explaining about the missed box. No problem. It happens, right? Peter says 3 sold in the last auction for current market price, and the balance appeared to be in the January auction. So 3 have gone. Okay, that's good. So you got what they were going for. That's a good thing, I think, right? Astro Lucky says love seeing the 181s. Always great books. It's a beautiful I love Hulk 181. Even though it's here like all the time, I love the book. It's a gorgeous book. Come on. And they always press out so nice. Why is that happening? Okay, there we go. Peter G. Hulk 181 was one of the most overvalued books in the comic boom. A nice book, but thousands have been graded there. Not scarce. It's funny because I was looking at, I was comparing a Hulk 181 versus an ASM 252, first black suit Spider-Man in the Amazing Spider-Man run, but the Canadian price variant. I was shocked to see that in the last year, there have been several Hulk 180. I was looking at a specific grade. There were several of these books that sold over the course of the last year, and only 3 or 4 of those ASM 252s have sold in Canadian price variant. So, far more rare than a Hulk 181. So, Peter is right. The book is super popular, and it climbed, it escalated. Every book went up like crazy over the boom. It has come down a bit, but you know what, Peter? I think the book's going right back up again. I don't think it's going to stay down forever. If you can get a good deal on a Hulk 181, now is probably a good time to start hunting one down, and then just put her away, because I really do believe that book's going to bounce back up again. Astro says, it definitely went crazy recently. Yes, nice book. I still want one, of course. Always great to have a Hulk 181 in your collection. Soups should have had a custom label, one for each decade. I don't know why Warner Brothers or why CGC has not approached Warner Brothers to get... I'm sure they have, but for some reason they don't seem to be interested in having their logos on a CGC slab. But yeah, cool. Even this is Superman symbol, or the Bat symbol, or the Wonder Woman symbol. Simple, right? Nope, not happening. Okay. What did I promise you here? I promised you a big one. Right, here we go. Where'd it go? There it is. Right here, guys. Another one I've seen a lot of this year, along with Hulk. Not quite as much as Hulk 181, but right up there, almost a weekly thing, is Giant Size X-Men #1, and love to see them in a 9.0. 9.0 is great to see it. Great to see. Very happy to see that. We also have another nice copy of an early Spider-Man book, ASM 46, one of my favorite all-time covers with the Shocker. A first appearance of the Shocker in a 7.5. We have a Hulk 102 in a 7.5 as well. Creamed off. Whoa, what the heck was that? Oh, an empty glass. Whoops. Creamed off-white pages. Lots of creamed off-white pages tonight. This one's creamed off-white. We had a bunch in the last batch that was creamed off-white. Here's other creamed off-white. What's going on with that? I've never seen so many cream to off-white pages. We have an Iron Man #1. Off-white to white pages and a 6.5. There we go. We got a couple more. We got another Green Lantern 59. I think the other one was a 6.0 as well. Here's another 6.0. First Guy Gardner. First Molten Man 6.0. Amazing Spider-Man 28. Oh. First crack of the night. Thought we got through a box without a crack right there. Look at that. Beastly crack. That'll go back to CGC this week. I'll put this off to the side here. Like that. Brother Voodoo's first appearance in Strange Tales 169 from 1973. This is a white pager for a change. And this is an 8.5. All right. We have The Real Ghostbusters in a 9.6 white pager from 1988. Is that going to all fit there? Let's see if it's all going to fit. I think so. And we've got a Batman 450, Brief Origin of the Joker. What's all these slabs having these scuff marks on them? Like, what's going on, man? CGC, man. I mean, I've been reading all kinds of issues over at CGC lately. It's just, I really do believe, guys, that CGC has a super high, like the customer service people I talk to are usually the same people that have been there for quite a while. The dudes in accounting are all the same people, but I have a feeling that they have a high turnaround rate, you know, in the shipping department, in the receiving department, in all those departments where, you know, the pay is probably lowest. Because, you know what? I said it last week. I'm not going to go into all the baloney I'm going through right now, but I have a bunch of nonsense issues and dealing with them right now. They screwed up a few of my American clients' orders, shipped them back to me in error. So they had to ship me labels so I could send them back. And now I got to put in to get money back because they shipped the books back to me in my account. I got charged quite a bit of money for these books to be shipped to me in error. Now they got to reimburse me for those errors. It's a big rigmarole. But I'm having all kinds of issues like that right now. So I wonder if other people are also experiencing that. It's, you know, and then I see slabs with scuffs all over them. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on over there, right? What the hell's happening over there? So I don't know. Hopefully things will get better. Hey, Kevin, how goes it? Frankie, how are you, Frank? Any books are mine? I don't think so, Frank. But I did see a lot of custom labels, so maybe there are some that are yours. I don't know, but I don't think so. The P-Man, page quality doesn't really bother me for my Disney Golden Age. Well, when it comes to Golden Age, Jay Troy, I think it's like, well, you can kind of turn a blind eye to that, right? You can kind of turn a blind eye to the page quality. One more look at that, baby. Look at that. She's pretty. Yeah, you can turn a blind eye to a Golden Age book if it's got off our cream pages. It's an old book for crying out loud, right? That happens. So we're going to see that sort of thing. All right. Well, let's see who else is in the room right now. Put my invoices on here. These will get sorted by my daughter this week sometime. Hopefully. She's got a lot of essay writing to do this week, but hopefully she can get in there this week, get these on tomorrow, and I can let people know if their books and their orders are ready. So, let's talk about Supergirl really quick. Or maybe not so quick. There have been... First of all, are you fans of Supergirl? Curious. Are you a fan of Supergirl? I've always liked Supergirl. I thought she's been always a cool character. A derivative character of Superman, obviously. I always liked that she... I never had problems with these derivative characters. These characters based on other characters like She-Hulk or Batgirl. I always thought it was kind of cool. You know, when I used to watch the 1960s Batman series, I always liked when Batgirl would show up as an addition to the crime fighting family. You know, so when I started reading comic books, I had no problem with, you know, Supergirl or She-Hulk or any other of these characters that were kind of based, I wouldn't say based on, but kind of grew or spawned from their male counterparts. And Supergirl was no exception. Now, I think the first time we really see Supergirl in a movie was with, what's her name? Helen Slater in the Supergirl movie from 1984. Now, I saw that movie when it came out, and I barely remember it, but I do remember it being quite bad. There are, people that do still look fondly upon that character because she was a part of the Christopher Reeve Superverse, if you want to call it that. And believe it or not, back in those days, they were trying to create a Superman universe. That was the whole, that was kind of a part of their plan. And I believe Christopher Reeve was actually supposed to be in that movie, but then I think the contract talks fell apart, and in the end, it didn't happen. The story was really bad. The acting was really bad. You had Faye Dunaway in this movie as the main villain. You had Peter O'Toole in there. Brenda Carrero, I think. Is that her name? Brenda Carrero? I forget her name now. She was like Brenda something. She was in there. And then again, a newbie, Helen Slater, who was a very stiff actress playing this role. She kind of reminded me of Daryl Hannah in Big. Kind of this naive character. She wasn't Kara Zor-El. I think she was Linda Lee or something like that in it. And it wasn't very good. Watching, Siskel and Ebert talk about that movie today is pretty funny because they absolutely detested it. So, yeah, it spawned no sequels. No one cared about it. But what's very interesting about that movie is that we did see the character show up in the most recent Flash movie when the whole time travel or the multiverse kind of collided, and we saw Christopher Reeve and the Helen Slater Supergirl show up for a brief second. So, I mean, even though it wasn't a much loved character, we did see her show up again in in a cameo appearance in the most recent Flash outing. Then, of course, we have Melissa Benoist, who played Supergirl on the CW. And you know what? I like that show. I was a fan of Flash, and then when Supergirl came around, I was a fan of Supergirl. Now, I gotta say, I was a fan for a while, and then I kind of gave up on it. Just like the Flash, I gave up on. That show, unfortunately, started to become a little too, and we've talked about this on the channel before, a little bit too politically, it became a political messaging tactic, I think, more than it was a television program to entertain, But when it first started, I really quite enjoyed it. It was good. Melissa Benoist was a pretty girl. She was a good actress. She really suited the role of Kara Zor-El, and I actually liked the fact that she looked like the Supergirl we all know from the comic books. And I've said this before, when I see my characters up on the big screen or the little screen, I want them to look like they look like, or as closely as they look like in the comic books. Why are you changing this? So, to give an example of this, when I saw the most recent Marvels movie and they showed Binary at the end, I didn't like that. I didn't like the way Binary looked because Binary didn't look anything like Binary from the comic book. So, you know what? I didn't like it. So, come on. But Melissa Benoist, and guess what? And Helen Slater looked like Supergirl as well too. The costumes were there; they looked great. But they had the traditional blonde hair, the skirt, the whole 9 yards. That's how it started. As the CW show progressed and we got to the final seasons, we lost the skirt. She started wearing pants. They started changing, and that's not, her wearing pants is not what bothered me. There's other things going on in this show that bother me. I'm not going to get into it here because I'm not talking about, the writing of the show or whatever. The writing was as good as it was on The Flash. And then it just, again, the political messaging got a little bit heavy-handed. And when a show is more focused on political agendas, more so than storytelling, or even character development, real character development, or connections between characters, and decent stories, even if they're fun stories or simple stories, but at least fun stories, then you can count me out. And so I tapped out. I didn't see the last 2 or 3 seasons of it. It was going in a direction I didn't want to follow. But you know what? It had a good start. And for a while there, it was quite popular, and I quite enjoyed it. Then we brings us to Sasha Cale, which is I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Is it Calais or Sasha Cale? She was the version of Supergirl we got in the most recent Flash movie. And you know what? I didn't mind her either. She looks nothing like Supergirl. She was not blonde. She was brunette. But her powers were really, the way they depicted her powers were really cool. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the way she looked. I don't think hair color is all that important to me. But yeah, she was good. It was a really quick glimpse into her because she dies in it really quick. Spoiler alert, she dies, right? She's killed really quick. And, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed how she was captured and she was imprisoned and not exposed to the sun. So her powers were weakened and they kept control of her like that. I thought that was kind of neat. And it juxtaposed, the Henry Cavill Superman story we had. It was kind of connected, but not. And I didn't mind that. But she was fine. She wasn't annoying. Like, she wasn't an annoying the actress wasn't annoying playing the part. Whereas, if you want to talk about annoying, just go watch the Marvels. There's some pretty annoying acting going on there. But she was actually quite good. So I liked it. Now, but has Supergirl caught on? Has Supergirl caught on? No, I don't think she has. I don't think she has. And but I'm sure we're going to see her. I'm sure she's going to pop up in future DC projects. I would lay bets on it. Where else I saw Supergirl portrayed really cool? I liked her. I liked seeing her again. I'm bringing this up. I think I brought it up already. Oh, maybe I didn't bring it up with you guys. I brought it up with Phil in the show, but Justice League Unlimited, the cartoon, the Warner Brothers cartoon from the, I think, late 90s. It was the second part of just Justice League. It was Justice League Unlimited. I'm sure you guys have watched it. The depiction of Supergirl in that was excellent. So much so that they went forward with her character, that she actually leaves Earth, our dimension, to go to a different dimension and be a hero there. It was pretty cool. Kind of a lost hero trying to find her way in the shadow of her cousin, Kal-El. And it was done really, really well. And they really played off on her when she was first introduced. She was kind of, she wasn't Green Arrow's sidekick, but she was kind of had an affinity for Green Arrow, and he kind of took her under his wing. And I really liked that dynamic in that show. So that depiction of Supergirl was actually quite good as well. They didn't spend a hell of a lot of time on it, but when they did do it, they did a great job. But that cartoon, honestly, guys, I'll be honest, if you want good DC content, don't go see anything in the movies. Go out and pick up the DVD, if you can find a DVD set. It might actually be on Netflix now that I think about it, of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. If you're a DC fan, you got to watch these cartoons. The character play is so much fun. It's excellent. The storytelling is great. The scripting is good. The voice acting is excellent. Like, that's the best I've ever seen, to be honest. Kevin Conroy's Batman coming back from the Batman, the animated series from the 1980s. It's excellent. You got Mark Hamill as a Joker in there. You got Clancy Brown in there playing Lex Luthor. He's fantastic. He's probably the best Lex Luthor you're ever going to see is Clancy Brown in the Superman the animated series and the Justice League series. He's fantastic in that. I don't know why these live action shows don't watch these cartoons and take inspiration from them, because that's the best I've seen. But going back to Supergirl in particular. Yeah, they've taken a couple of shots that, kicks of the can. I think they had some great success with Melissa Benoist's TV show. I think that show at least introduced Kara Zor-El to the general public, people that did not know much about Supergirl already. That show lasted many seasons. I think at least 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons. That's, got people on board with Supergirl. So people know who Supergirl is now. She's on the radar, which is a good thing. The Flash movie, unfortunately, because of the nonsense that was going on with Ezra Miller, I enjoyed the Flash movie. It was fun for what it is. But all these DC movies, the Aquaman movie that's coming out, they're really just kind of one-shots now, because that universe is dead, right? Bringing back Michael Keaton as the OG Batman was a lot of fun. But again, we see Supergirl one more time, a different version, but not foreign to audiences, because we saw her on the CW. So I think that she's established enough now in the zeitgeist that people will accept her if they were to go forward and make a good movie about her. That's what you guys are saying, if anything. Astor says, political ideology in the shows takes away from the actual story and character development. Darn right. That's what I've always said. And that's what's killing a lot of these, of our favorite intellectual properties. Unfortunately, is this political ideology. You're right. Stop trying to shove shit down our throat. You know what I mean? I think, listen, art in general is political, right? Let's be honest. Whether it's songwriters from the any songwriter for that matter, but if I specifically want to say the 1960s, there was a lot of music being created to talk about what was happening in the world around them. So, art is where politics is oftentimes discussed or played with or explored. I get it. But boy, when you have these shows that are geared towards young kids, like really young kids sometimes, and they're starting to put this ideology in there, then I really have a problem with that. And again, I don't mind a little bit of it. I don't. I think a director or a script or a writer, I think they need to put some politics in their work. But when it gets so heavy-handed that it's so obvious that you're trying to push an agenda, then I really have a problem. I really do. Like, look at the Joker. The Joker, for example, with Joaquin Phoenix, right? I mean, there's lots of stuff going, a lot of messaging in that, tons of it. Just criticizing society, American society in general, right? Lots and lots of messaging in there. But it wasn't so obvious. It wasn't so heavy-handed and so obvious. That's the word, obvious. When you're doing something, you're putting characters in there that are just there to fill a checkbox. It becomes obvious, and then it's lazy. It's not creative. It's lazy. And so when you get a movie like The Joker, that is it a superhero film? I don't really think it is, but I mean it's based on a character from the comic books, sure. And I think the director and the writers are really trying to say something about our society. I don't know about you guys, but I was very, very moved at the end of Joker when he was on the show there, and he was being interviewed by De Niro's character there, and he was trying to explain himself and say, you know what, you don't care a bit about me. These guys are these a-holes who are just mean, dastardly people you care so much about. You know nothing about them, but you care about them only because they're successful. But guys like me who struggle, who are suffering, where all the supports have been taken away from me, you just kick me to the curb and walk over me. Lots to be said. I was really moved at that moment. I felt really sorry for him at that moment, right? So there's lots. It's great writing, great acting. So if you want to put political messaging in your entertainment, fine, but do it in a way that's not so hitting me over the head. It's so obvious, here it is. That's why this character is there. Doesn't serve any other purpose, only to be there to as a checkbox. We got to have four of these ethnicities, 4 of these genders, 4 of this. No, I can't stand that. I can't. I really can't. Now that being said, I'm watching some film. I teach film, as you guys know, and we're watching films right now. I watched White Christmas. We have a very kind of they're working on ISUs over the next couple of weeks. So I said every week I'll show you a quick Christmas movie, some of the good ones, and I showed them White Christmas, and I showed them what do you call it, A Christmas Story today. Shoot your eye out. And I did notice, especially in White Christmas, there was only white people in this movie. That's it. No representation from any other culture whatsoever in this film. As I'm watching this film, and I look at my class, and my class is extremely diverse, and here I'm watching a movie that's just purely, it's called White Christmas, and it's pretty white. Nothing wrong with that. Still a great movie, still a fun film, lots of heart, beautiful dancing choreo. It was Bob Fosse choreographed. It had Bing Crosby. Come on, you can't some classic numbers in there. Hollywood at one point was, do you want to call it racist? I don't know if it was racist or not, but it was very. There were what's the word I'm looking for? There were gatekeepers that only showed certain types of people, and that's not good, right? It's not good, So you throw people in just to make a difference. I think we're at that point now where Hollywood's trying to make it so open to everybody that becomes so much more of their concern than the story. Then you have a problem, right? Then the stories usually are not very good. Watching White Christmas, I was uncomfortable. I'll be honest. For the first time, I was uncomfortable watching it because it was so obviously exclusive. Is that the word, exclusive? It excluded so many people, and And this is the night, what was it, 1954 the movie came out? You know, there was a lot of other ethnicities living in America in 1954, but this was what Hollywood was giving us, you know. So yeah, things needed to change. Okay, things needed to change. But now we've got to the point where we're way over here. Now we're way over there. We're way too far. We need to find that happy balance where story comes first. And you put the person in the role who fits the role the best, whether that person is, purple, pink, green, whatever. You get what I'm saying? You put the person that fits the role properly, and then go from there. And talent is very important too. So, yeah. Anyways, that was a long explanation. Peter says, what I don't appreciate is the weakening and dumbing down of Supergirl and Superman, a lack of respect for the characters. Well, that's another thing too. I always had a problem with the fact that Supergirl comes from Superman, right? Like but the CW wanted to make her the most powerful character in their universe. So much so that when Superman did come about, he was kind of in awe of Supergirl. Like, she was Supergirl. He was Superman, but she was Supergirl. And she was more powerful than him. She had all the answers. He was just this hillbilly hick who didn't understand anything. And you had a problem with that because, and I know John Campea over on his channel, back when the show was on, was always he said, you don't job Superman. And I agree. You don't job Superman. And no character should job Superman. No character should job Batman, and no character should job Wonder Woman. These are the three triumvirates. These are the three key players in the DC universe, and nobody should better them. They're the ones that should be revered. So when Supergirl, when Superman tells, oh, thank goodness, thank God for you, Supergirl, because the world has you. Well, okay. But that's not the way it goes, right? So I had a problem with that. But so I do agree with you, Peter. I didn't like when they weaken the characters to make another character look more powerful. There's other ways of doing that, and that was not the way to do it. I think they really did lose respect for. They didn't give Superman the character, the respect it deserved. Again, I don't like seeing. But again, you go back to those cartoons I was talking about, the Justice League cartoons. They never did that. Superman was badass. I mean, he was powerful. And Batman was smarter than him. And Batman could control Superman. He knew how to do it if he had to. But Superman was, there's that one episode with Darkseid. And he tells Darkseid, I think he says to him, I'm glad you're as powerful as you are, so I can push it. Because I've never pushed it. Now I can push my powers to the limit because I know you can handle it. And so he gives Darkseid a beating of all beatings. It's great. But it's a great cartoon. Anyways, guys, so there you go. Good talk. Supergirl. Again, just to recap really quickly, the three versions we've got, the three main versions, Helen Slater's, not such a movie you should not rush out and watch because it's not that great. Sasha Cale's version, the most recent version of Flash, she was good. Again, she doesn't last very long, but I enjoyed her depiction of Supergirl. And of course, the one that I think has established Supergirl as a known character to the general public, guys, to the general public, is Melissa Benoit's version of Supergirl that we got in the CW. Again, started strong. I think went out with a fart there in the end, kind of fart in the wind. It wasn't a very the show went south as it moved on, but because it stayed on television for so long, I think it placed Supergirl kind of in the eyes of TV watchers, viewers, a lot of young people. So she's known now, and because she's known, and I said earlier she's in the zeitgeist, you can bet your bottom dollar we're going to see her in an upcoming film or another television project for sure. Thanks, Doc. Great show as always. See you next week. Guys, you too, my friends. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back again next Tuesday at 8:30 with another CGC unboxing. I sure hope you can make it. And if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button before you go. And wouldn't mind if you share this video with other people too. That'd be great. We would certainly like to get the numbers up here in the channel and build this community as much as we possibly can. Guys, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you again, like I said, next Tuesday. Until then, take care. Have a good night. Bye for now.